elements of the basic training program. And the other services have partnerships with USCIS where they periodically bring in legal services and caseworkers, and that appears to be working. Both methodologies appear to be working, and the feedback we get is good. We continue to evaluate whether it makes sense to reestablish those base level offices. We want to ensure that in addition to supported basic training, that we're providing the same level of support beyond basic training.
Okay, thank you. And I see my time has expired, so I yield back.
And lady yields back. I now recognize myself just for some concluding questions. First, I want to thank all the witnesses and members for their participation today. I do think it's very important that we live up to our commitment to the veterans of this country. You know, all of us are so lucky that we were Americans just through the circumstance of our birth. You know, how lucky we are. These are individuals who have decided to volunteer to defend the country. They've taken a step beyond just the good fortune of getting born in the United States. And the recognition of that, I think, must be taken. As I listen, you know, I'm mindful that we need to make this very simple. Obviously, the naturalization at the front would avoid other problems at the end. And I'm not a veteran. I never went through basic training, but my husband has talked to me what basic training is like. And from what he said, they very rarely ask the people in basic training what they want to do. They tell them what to do. And so obviously no one will be naturalized against their will, but I think that this should be automatic. An application should be put in front of a non-citizen soldier, and they can decide if they don't want to follow through. That would be up to them. But I do think it's incumbent on the Defense Department to make that part of the entire system. Like the ranking member, I'm interested in additional data. We did get a rundown of, you know, just the 144 requests for assistance through the portal. I think it's interesting that of those who inquired, only 7 were under 40 years old, and most were, I mean, over 40. Most of the offenses were drug offenses, and some were not any criminal offenses. The ages of the conviction, all but 2 were over 5 years old, and 108 were more than 10 years old. So I think it would be good to find out kind of the nature of this population, just so we understand it. But having said that, the real question before us is whether someone who's volunteered to serve their country in the US military, who gets out and messes up, should, in addition to paying the penalty under the criminal law for messing up, also be expelled from the United States. With unanimous consent, I'll put a statement into the record from the American Legion. They argue that veterans should not be deported, and that for those who have already been deported, that a visa be made available to them to come back, that there shouldn't be a special penalty for those who have messed up. And as we all know, those who serve, especially in brutal combat, can suffer emotional distress, PTSD, that can lead to problems in later life. I'd also ask unanimous consent to put into the record a statement from the chairman of the Veterans Affairs Committee, Mr. Mark Takano, in favor of these efforts, as well as a letter by Ken Olson about broken promises. And without objection, those items will be made part of the record. I hope that we are able to take some action to smooth the return of those who served their country in the United States military and who ended up outside of the United States. I give credit to the administration for the action, the proactive action that's been taken using the parole authority that is within the Immigration and Nationality Act. But clearly, that is not the easiest way to proceed to right what I think the American Legion would argue is a wrong. I'm hopeful that we can move forward to pass legislation to honor our veterans, to make sure that they get the respect that they earned through their service to our country. I would note also that looking at the demographics, the vast majority of those who have taken who have inquired about the parole program have been removed for more than 20 years. Many of them are elderly, over 60, some between 70 and 80 years of age. These are individuals who served their country in combat, who need the veterans benefits that they earned, and we need to do what we can to honor our service to them. At this point, and without objection, we will note that the record will remain open for 5 days, 5 legislative days for additional written questions that can be sent to the witnesses. And we ask, if that does occur, that you answer those questions, and other questions that may be sent to you, as well as the data that has been asked, we will pursue. And without objection, hearing no objection, this concludes today's hearing. And I again once again like to thank our witnesses and the members for participating. And without objection, this hearing is now adjourned.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and happy 4th of July.
And to all of you.